You clicked this video because you are worried about becoming dependent on artificial intelligence. You fear that relying on code generation tools will erode your ability to think critically or debug complex systems without help. This is not just a minor productivity concern. It is a fundamental threat to your long-term career agency. By the end of this explanation, you will understand why your current workflow might be silently de-skilling you and discover a specific verification strategy that turns the AI from an architect into a supervised intern. Let us start by looking at what is actually happening in your brain when you accept AI code without scrutiny. Research indicates that over-reliance on these tools creates a dangerous loop known as cognitive offloading. When you ask a model to write a function and you copy the result without reading the logic, you are essentially outsourcing the mental work required to build a mental model of the system. You trade short-term speed for long-term architectural agency. The immediate result is a dopamine hit of satisfaction because the code works. You feel productive. But because you did not engage in the struggle of constructing the solution yourself, you never develop the intuition needed to trace a bug when it inevitably appears in production. This phenomenon is not about individual preference or laziness. It stems from a lack of foundational instincts. Studies show that when junior engineers blindly accept AI outputs, their post-task satisfaction is high, yet their actual competence remains low. They believe they understand the system because the code is there. However, when a logical error occurs, the time it takes to fix the problem skyrockets. This is because the junior engineer lacks the foundational knowledge to trace the root cause of hallucinated logic or architectural inconsistencies. They are looking at a black box that they do not understand, and they cannot open it to see what is broken. Quick resource note. I keep a curated set of Amazon search links in the description for books, gear, and tools relevant to this channel's topics. Some are affiliate links, so I may earn a commission at no extra cost to you. Please consider supporting the channel by using those links if you find something useful. Senior engineers have reported a troubling trend they call misplaced responsibility. When juniors treat the AI as the architect, they delegate critical design decisions to the model without understanding the trade-offs. They might accept a database schema that looks efficient but ignores a specific constraint of their business logic. They accept an API design that is convenient for the current task but will become a bottleneck as the system scales. The result is fragile systems that require extensive refactoring by senior staff later on. The junior engineer has become a curator of other people's ideas rather than a creator of their own solutions. Here is the thing that changes the entire dynamic. The solution is not to stop using the tool. The solution is to fundamentally reframe the relationship you have with it. You need to adopt a verification. First, workflow. In this model, the artificial intelligence is not the architect. It is the intern. An intern is eager, fast, and often helpful, but they are fallible. They make mistakes. They hallucinate. They do not understand the full context of the project. Therefore, you must treat every line of code they produce as a draft that requires manual verification against the system's constraints before it is integrated. This shift forces you to engage in active cognitive processing. Instead of passively consuming the output, you must manually verify every single line against the requirements. You have to ask why this specific algorithm was chosen. You have to check if this loop handles edge cases correctly. You have to ensure that the variable names align with the project's naming conventions. This process slows down the initial delivery, but it builds the muscle memory required for senior-level work. It ensures that you are the one making the decisions, not the machine. There is a deeper layer to this strategy that is often overlooked. To truly prevent skill atrophy, you must implement a human-in-the-loop protocol. Before you commit any AI-generated block of code to your repository, you must document the why behind it. This means writing a comment or a commit message that explains the reasoning, the trade-offs, and the potential risks of that specific implementation. If you cannot explain why the AI chose a particular data structure, you are not ready to accept that code. This requirement forces active cognitive engagement and prevents the atrophy of problem-solving skills that are essential for career progression. However, we must acknowledge a significant complication in the real world. Your agency is often constrained by workplace mandates. Organizational policies frequently force AI adoption regardless of individual skill levels because the pressure for speed is immense. In many agile environments, the priority is immediate output, not the slow, deliberate practice required to build the judgment needed to verify AI code effectively. This creates a tension where the ideal verification. first approach is theoretically sound for skill preservation, but its real-world adoption is currently hindered by systemic pressures. This does not mean you should abandon the strategy. It means you must be intentional about where you apply it. You can start small. Pick a single feature or a complex function where you feel least confident. Force yourself to solve the problem independently first, even if it takes longer. Then, compare your solution with the AI's output. Analyze the differences. Ask why the AI made different choices. This practice builds the critical judgment needed to verify code effectively without needing a cultural shift across your entire organization. The goal is to move from a state of blind acceptance to a state of critical oversight. When you treat the AI as a subordinate intern, you retain the authority of the architect. You maintain the mental models required to debug complex systems. You ensure that your productivity gains are sustainable and do not come at the cost of your future capability. The paradox of AI is that it can make you feel more productive while making you less capable. The only way to break this cycle is to demand that every line of code you accept is justified by your own understanding. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I am a one-person team working hard to make each video better than the last. Subscribe if you found value. It is the best way to show support. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. See you in the next video.